Hello, Podfam, and hello, Rachel.
Hi, Laura. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. I am a little bit sleepy today, and I had to push myself through a 20-minute Yoga with Adriene video, but I did it, and I'm very proud of myself. And my abs were absolutely killing me because it was all core centered. And I don't think I'm ever going to do an ab circuit that's not yoga based ever again because just doing the movements in such a slow way. Oh, it burns.
That sounds amazing. You might have to send me that video.
I will.
I took the day off today.
That's
I
good.
I had some plans to go out, but then you know what? I ended up working a little bit later this evening,
Mhm.
and then it just got really dark, and that
Yep.
killed my motivation. So I was like, you know what? Nah, it's a night in.
Yep. That's how definitely how I was feeling. Which monthly challenge did you decide on?
Oh, my monthly challenge. Yes, I guess I should update everyone. So, plans had to change a little bit, but I was going to get a membership to the Y.
Mhm.
However, it was going to be the same price and like 20 minutes closer for me just to go to the local community center, which fortunately has a little gym that has
Mhm.
like a surprising number of machines to work with. Like, I'm not really doing a lot of machine work right now, but if I
Mhm.
did, like, it literally has everything. So that's pretty exciting. It cost me like $50 for the month. I've already got the price down to probably like $5 by based on the number of times I've already gone this month.
Mhm.
So that's been fun. I was originally hoping to swim. However, the pool at that location is closed. And if I wanted to
Mm.
go swim, I can use my same membership, but I would have to drive to a different community center that's like over 25 minutes away from me. Plus, you have to like
Mhm.
book the time in advance. Like the schedule only comes out once a week.
Mhm.
So, for December, it's just a little too much for me right now. I'm actually keeping my workout super simple. As everyone knows, I was really hardcore into the kickboxing last month for
Mhm.
November. But for December, I've actually just been kind of doing incline walking workouts on the treadmill.
Mhm. I
I love
actually did
it.
that. I took your advice and did that yesterday because we went to the
Oh, awesome.
gym. Because 'cause we're going right now, we're just going once a week together, my partner and
Hmm.
and I got there a bit early, so I did 20 minutes, I think probably on the 5 to 7 incline, just I
Yeah.
would move it up and down, and it was great.
It's really effective, It's
Yeah.
awesome. Like, you do it for 30 minutes. That's your 30 minutes of activity for the day. I
Mhm.
know I'll do it normally around like 3 miles per hour. So it's like a brisk walk with an incline.
Yeah.
So like you're breathing and you're sweating by the end of it.
Yeah, I think I was doing it at, like, 3.5, like 3 to
Mhm.
3.5, and oh my god, the 3.5, I was like, "Oh, I'm about to
You have
die."
to hang on to it. I find like when I'm
Yeah.
doing like the super high incline with at a 3, I'm holding on to the rails because I'm just like, I
Mhm.
am exhausted if I don't do this and I'm worried that I might like fall back.
I know, or you're just like, "I might just fall forward." Just be one of those gym memes.
I try not to do that where, you like smash your face on the front of the treadmill.
I know,
That
I would
doesn't
just be
sound
so
fun.
embarrassed. I would be mortified, I would never go back.
Yeah, I don't think I could recover from that one.
Yeah. So, guess what, Laura?
What?
This is our last episode that's going to be released in 2021.
I know, we did it. We finally got to the end of 2021, and in this
Yay!
episode thank you for the cheering. In this episode, we're just gonna be kinda sharing, like, what we learned in general this
Yeah.
year because, a lot of things changed for us, and,
Mhm.
we're kinda glad with the things we learned, and then we're looking forward to 2022.
Mhm. My life looks completely different
Yeah, that's
than
for
it
sure.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like it's been like 4 years.
Oh my god, that feels so long ago, your previous life.
I know. I don't miss it that much.
That's good. That's the main thing, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty glad with where it's at now. But before we jump into our top lessons from 2021, what are you going to be drinking this evening?
So this evening, I am drinking a rooibos tea, and
Lovely.
it's an amaretto.
Mm,
So
interesting.
I'm not sure if I've had this one on the show before, but it's a very like mellow and rich
Mhm.
flavor. If anyone's actually had amaretto, it kind of tastes like that,
Mhm.
but without the alcohol. So I thought, like, it's our last episode of the year, so I feel like I should have like a celebration drink. So I'm having a
Mhm.
celebration like tea.
Nice.
Yes. What are you
Nice.
drinking?
I am back on the herbal teas today. I have my chamomile lavender, getting myself all calmed down. I what day is this? It's December 15th as we're recording this, and I am really feeling the fact that next Tuesday is going to be the longest day of the year. I am
You
really
mean the
feeling
shortest
that.
day? The shortest day of the year.
I'm gonna repeat that. This is exactly the mood that I'm in right now. Yes, it will be the shortest day of the year. I am really feeling that.
I love that you almost said longest day again.
I feel like that just encapsulates the mood that I'm in.
Yes, it really does. And I don't know, it was around 4 o'clock today, I swear, when it started getting dark.
Yeah.
And yep, like I said before, killed the motivation to go anywhere.
Yeah, I've just had to accept the fact that I'm not getting out of bed before 7:30 right now anyway, so this morning was the first time I'd actually set my alarm to go off at 7:30 just to accept that about myself.
Well, that's
So,
good. Sometimes you
yeah,
just have to not admit defeat, but go with what's working.
exactly. So, yes, I am drinking my chamomile lavender tea to help me out and just let me drift off to sleep because my body is feeling like the shortest day of the year is coming up. See, I got it that time.
There you go. Now you're on a
There
roll.
we go. I swear to God, if I said longest one more time, we need to stop the recording if that happened.
This episode's not happening.
No, no. It's just it would be done. It would be done. So, all right. Our top lessons. Our top 7 lessons for 2021. Do you want to start us off?
Sure, I will start us off. And this first one is not a new lesson for me, but it
Mhm.
was really applicable to this year.
Mhm.
And I feel like it's a good one for just anyone who's listening, and that it's okay to be a beginner.
Yep. That's a good
Um,
one.
yeah, and I know we've probably mentioned it before on other episodes, but for me this year, it really was applicable because, obviously the podcast is
Mhm.
something that we were both beginners at
Mhm.
this year. Like, we had no idea how to even use a microphone, let alone like put an actual edited episode on the internet, you know?
Mhm.
And, we're kind of unique in our situation because a lot of podcasts do start with an existing following.
Mhm.
However, we really started with nothing.
Mhm.
And all the growth we've had has been organic and just, whoever needs to listen to this episode, yeah, listen to this podcast has kind
Mhm.
of found this podcast. And I'm just super proud of us for that because, the road is long
Mhm.
and you really don't see a lot of payoff. And I feel like a lot of people stop going for new things because they don't want that feeling of not being successful or not being good at something. But
Mhm.
really, the way you get better at something is to just keep trying and just keep putting it out there.
Mhm.
If we go back and listen to our first episodes, you can tell that we're nervous when we're talking. You can tell the audio wasn't perfect, but then there's this whole gradual transformation into where we are now. And
Mhm.
we are by no means experts by
No.
any sense. We're like novice, maybe intermediate now, but that's just part of the journey for us. So it's really exciting to see just how far we've come.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm just so glad that we haven't quit or given up. Even when, our first, I don't even, maybe 10 episodes, no one downloaded for a
Oh,
very long time.
what
But
a
now,
time.
yeah, but now they're like some of our most favorited and listened to episodes. So,
Mhm.
for anyone who is thinking of trying something new, but they're really worried about not being good at it, we are all beginners at some point. And the most
Exactly.
important thing is to start. So, that is my
Indeed.
first lesson for 2021.
I love that lesson. And, it really does ring true because when I think back to how I edited our How to Plan Your Dream Trip
Mhm.
episode, which was our first one, oh my God. The ways that I thought that our editing software worked, it would take me like a whole weekend if I was still editing that way. I would like just delete a section from your audio and then try to drag around mine to match up again. Why did I think it worked that way? I don't know, but you know what? I think we've gotten to a point where it all comes together really nicely now. So that's a good
Exactly.
example.
Yeah, and the further we go, the easier it's going to get and the more doors that are going to open.
Exactly. And I am super, super excited about what the future of our podcast holds. So can't wait for 2022 with that one.
Same here. So, what is your first lesson, Rachel?
All right. So mine is in the realm of work, and it was to not let your fears or doubts about your own capabilities get in the way of leading.
Oh, interesting. This is a good one for you
Yes.
this year.
Yes. So I'm going to use I actually as of today have completed a huge project that I took the leadership role on. And it's been about a year, I think, from start to finish, and it was like 100% my baby, and I had to manage the whole process. And I definitely got in my own way a lot with it, where, I didn't feel like I knew how to be a project manager. I didn't think I knew how to put the right people in the right places in order to get things done. And a huge thing that I had to learn this year was genuinely just fake it till I make it, which is such a cliche thing to say. But, a lot of the time, what's holding you back when it comes to your work and whether you think that you can take ownership of something is really you're just getting in your own way. It's just your own doubts about what you're capable of. So, in kind of just stepping into those shoes, whether you feel ready for it or not, you're really just going to surprise yourself, I think.
Yes, and I love this lesson for you because just to add a little background, this project that you were working on, it's not like you were an expert in it. Like
No,
going back to
no.
my first lesson, like you literally had to learn how this whole thing operates. And then you had to teach everyone else how it operates. And then you had to launch it. And, it was just this whole set of building blocks for you.
Hmm.
And now finally, like you have this deliverable project that is useful within the company.
Yeah. And honestly, to like take that context even further, this was my first office job again after my job in the film industry where I had to ask permission to send an email. Like I was coming from a place where I had no autonomy, where suddenly I had joined a firm where people were like, here's a bunch of responsibility. Please get it done.
Let us know when it's done.
Let us know when it's finished. And I definitely had a lot of hurdles to jump through because even though I know that I knew I was a capable person at some point in my life, that job that I was in before really had kind of kicked me down. It made me feel like I wasn't capable and I wasn't smart. I couldn't lead my own projects. I was basically just a quote unquote pencil pusher. I don't know if that's a hot button word, but that's the one that I'm going to use. And I think that it was really nice to find myself again this year in learning this lesson and getting back in touch with what I am actually capable of.
Yeah. And I think just if you think about where you were a year ago, just like you said, you were not able to make any decision and it really affected you and your
Mhm.
work ethic because it's hard to go from being told no all the time or being
Mhm.
belittled And then your new position where you're expected to take on this responsibility, you know, get the work done and be the one in charge about it,
Mhm.
that is so hard. And it takes a while for you to kind of transition yourself to where you actually have the confidence to do that.
Mhm. For a while there, just writing an email that I was a bit unsure of, I would, like, read it over and over again for, like, an hour
Yeah, like
because
some simple tasks, they would
Mhm.
just take half a day because you were so concerned that you're going to do
Mhm.
something wrong.
Yes. And a nice extended lesson that I learned about that is especially when it's an email that's 2 sentences, if you made an error, no one's gonna notice or care.
No, a lot of the time they
No.
just won't even see it.
Or they send back multiple spelling errors
Yeah.
in their own
Yeah.
email.
Yeah, and they don't seem to care about that.
No, the professional world is a fascinating place, I love it.
It is.
So, yes. Basically, I think what I'm trying to say is just try not to get in your own way.
Yeah, get out of your head and just go for it and just do it.
Yes. So, lesson number 2 for you, Laura, which I guess is
Yeah,
lesson
so
number 3 altogether.
whatever. There's
Oh,
there's
well.
some lessons involved in the total. We're not really sure.
No.
Um, so yes, lesson number 2 for me, this is also one I've mentioned before, but it's just kind of about relationships
Yep.
and really understanding that things have lulls. Like your life has
Yes.
lulls, relationships have lulls, and it's just kind of getting used to a routine
Mhm.
that not everything's going to be like super exciting and great all the time,
Mhm.
but that doesn't mean that it's a bad thing.
Mhm.
Um, because you have to have respect that for other people that they can have off days too. Just how you can
Mhm.
have an off day, a person who you're in a relationship with can also have an off day. So that's just something that like I've really had to work hard at
Mhm.
because it was almost like a double standard with me where like I was allowed to have an off day, but no one else was. So that's been a new one for me.
I love that one. Also, that just takes me back to I don't even know what episode number it was, but I think it was our navigating romantic relationships. You
Most
carried
likely.
that lesson through the year. Yay!
Yay. Yeah, yeah. So and it's kind of like just learning to be chill. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a hard one though.
Yeah, and I feel like that lesson is especially tough. It kinda hits you right like, bang over the head when you start living with somebody.
Yes.
You kinda have to learn that lesson very quickly, I think, in order to keep it as a sustainable living situation for you.
Yeah, it kind of feels like one of those like sink or swim
Mhm,
situations.
mhm.
So luckily we still swimming.
We
We're
still
still
swimming.
swimming at the end of 2021.
Yes, and we will continue swimming through 2022.
Exactly. So that's kind of like all I have to say about my lesson 2. What's your lesson number 2?
Mine is that honesty and vulnerability brings you the best gifts,
Mm,
which is so dramatic.
that is very dramatic.
Yes, so mine is also about relationships, and when I was putting my lessons together, I was just like, "Geez, I really didn't think I learned that much this year, but these are some deep, deep things I learned."
Yeah, I feel like the
Um,
lessons we did learn, they're not superficial.
no.
They were like some hardcore hardwiring ones we had to
Yes.
learn.
Yes. So I learned this lesson around the time when I started to date my partner because and you can attest to this because you were with me through it all, I was terrified
Mhm.
of this experience because I have gotten my heart broken a lot.
Yes.
And I have definitely gone through many, many relationships and situationships and just dating in general where I didn't feel like I could be myself. And I felt like and vulnerability was punished in the way where if me as a woman expressed my needs or, what I wanted from somebody, it resulted in that relationship ending or them basically saying, "I won't give that to you."
Yeah, so it's almost like every time you tried to be open and honest, you were burned for it.
Yes. So when I met my boyfriend, I did not want to give that part of myself because I was scared. I didn't want to get my heart broken again. And I think I was at that point in dating that I think comes usually in your mid 20s when you've been around the block a few times of feeling like if this one goes to all hell, I might just give up dating for a while. That's
Yeah,
definitely where
really.
I was sitting. And it was actually something that he taught me where, like I was trying to approach it from a more, this is just who I am state. But on our first date, we were sitting by the water and he stops talking and looks at me and says, "Right out, I'm going to be 100% direct with you. I want to date you,"
Mm.
which is like bold.
Yeah, that is bold.
But for me, that door being open for me, I was like, "Oh, I can be honest about what I want with this person." And it just taught me exactly that lesson. To really have a truly loving and supportive relationship, it does have to be an open door.
Yeah, and it's so exciting that you set that precedence like right from the get-go because it just sets up a nice framework for you both to learn from that.
Yeah, that lesson is very special for me, and I'm glad that I was finally given a situation this year that allowed me to learn that because geez, I was going to be real jaded if it didn't go this way.
Yeah, can you imagine like you told me I could be honest.
I know. I would have been so mad, but yeah, thank God we're in a good space. And kind of jumping off of that, it's a very small lesson and maybe well not small, it is big, but it just jumps off of this and maybe you can relate to this one is that sustainable love is really a sense of safety and peace.
Yes, yes. Like I
Yes.
feel like when we're younger and kind of new to all of this, it's all about like the physical,
Mhm.
where when you kind of get older and you get into the more long lasting relationship, then it's just like, okay, am I safe? Am I secure? Are my needs being met? If you're kind of familiar with the hierarchy, we're kind of more focused on those base level things. And then we build up from there.
Mhm.
Where when you're new, it's just like you care more about the superficial and are these meeting my current needs, not my long-term needs.
Mhm. Mhm. Uh yeah, I really understood the value of your partner being your best friend this year. Just that feeling of safety that you get from being with your best friend.
Yeah.
It's very valuable, and I definitely don't think that I in any of my previous relationships even felt like they were my friend, let alone a best friend. So yeah, we can definitely you can definitely gauge how safe I felt in those situations.
Well,
So,
you're on the right track now.
we're on the right track. Yay. All right, off to your third lesson, Laura.
Yeah, so this one is probably the biggest one for me. And I hope I can explain it correctly because
Mhm.
it might be like a little woo woo for people.
Mhm.
But it's essentially like I cannot live someone's life for them. And I will break this down a little bit so it makes sense. Um, I find when you are with people who you love, like, your friends, your partners, family, whoever it
Mhm.
is, you have to respect the different viewpoints and stages of life that you are at. So, what I mean by this is maybe someone I know is going through something that I already went through.
Mhm.
And I want to help them because I just want the best for them, right? Like you care for these people. And so, whatever you can do to help them on their journey, you want to be there.
Yeah.
However, something I've learned in many situations is when it comes to learning a lesson, a lot of people, it doesn't matter how many times you warn them about something, you try and teach them how to do something, until they make that mistake, they will not learn it. And I have had to accept that that is not my journey, that is
Mhm.
their journey. I learned that lesson. I cannot learn the lesson for them.
Mhm.
So that's a big one for me. And
Mhm.
then also something beyond the lesson where you just see a situation for someone and you're just like, oh my God, that's perfect for you. You need to take it. You need to do that. Again, not my life,
Mhm.
right? Like I am looking at it from an outside perspective, not
Mhm.
an inside perspective. So
Mhm.
that person might see it a completely different way. And I do not understand what they're thinking, how they feel.
Yeah.
So even though to me it looks perfect, to them, they could be scared of that change or lack the
Mhm.
confidence for it. And that's not
Mhm.
something I can do for them. So, does that make any sense?
Yeah, it definitely does, and I think when you're viewing that situation that you think would be perfect for somebody, it's perfect in your eyes
Yes.
based off what you value, where, like you said, it might be fear of change stopping them, or it could also be just the kind of lifestyle that would present. Maybe
Mhm.
I don't value it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it comes down to the values, it comes down to the attitudes, your personality, your confidence levels. Like there's so many things at
Mhm.
play, and no two people are the same, right?
Mhm.
Like something I value, you might not value as much. And I have to respect that
Mhm.
because I cannot put my values and my viewpoint onto you. And
Mhm.
really, like, that's not fair
Mhm.
either, right? Like, you could be doing something that you totally love, and I could be like, that's the most ridiculous thing ever. Like, that's never going to work. It's like you're just kind of crazy for doing it. But
Yeah.
to you, that's everything.
Mhm.
Um, so this almost kind of goes back to letting people's opinions affect you,
Mhm.
which I think leads into one of your lessons, doesn't it, Rachel?
It does, and I just wanted to say one more thing before we jumped off of that, but, like, for anyone listening that resonates
Mhm.
with what you just said there, I think a good way to think about it too is if the shoe was on the other foot and it was somebody looking at your situation, how would you feel in their shoes?
Yeah, exactly. Because I can definitely tell when someone is trying to either put their lens onto me,
Mhm.
or if they're just like, oh, like, this didn't work out for me. This was a red flag, or whatever the situation is. I can recognize that that's what they're trying to tell me,
Mhm.
but it's again like you aren't in my shoes. You
Yep.
don't live my day to day life. So yeah, that roles reversed. It's not fair to me for someone to do that, and it's not fair to a person if I do that to them.
Exactly.
So that's been a big one for me because I just want the best for everyone.
Yeah.
And, you know, we don't always, not every one of us has the right answer for someone else,
No.
right? Like,
I mean, like, I would like to think that our answers are usually, like, pretty close to correct,
I
but,
like to think
that's just
so
us.
too. I wasn't going to say that because, I felt like that would kind of moot my whole point that I was just trying to make. Um, but yeah,
Everyone
like,
thinks that way though, so
exactly. We all think we have the best idea. And kind of going back to the woo woo thing is like I'm a huge believer like things happen for a reason, and a thing like a path presents itself
Mhm.
for you. So maybe I see that path for you, but like I can't push you down that path.
Yes.
That's where it's really hard because, okay, whoa, here we're going really woo woo. I consult the higher powers.
I
Um,
like some woo-woo.
I
It's
check on other
okay.
people's paths for them. And yeah, yeah. So I just have to remember that, every person is on their own individual journey, and your
Mhm.
soul has come into this life to learn a lesson.
Mhm.
And I have to think of that perspective for myself to stop myself from trying to intervene.
Mhm.
Um, because you know what? Maybe I learned that lesson in a different life
Mhm.
or already in this life,
Mhm.
but your goal in this life is to learn that lesson. And I
Mhm.
can't do that for you. So
Mhm.
it's been a hard one for me, but I'm
Yeah.
working on it. So that's one of my big realizations for 2021.
Yeah. On the woo-woo side, it might be something in your life that you only needed a day to learn
Mhm.
it. Where
Yes.
for somebody else, they might have to go through that experience 4 or 5 times before
Yeah,
it gets through.
multiple lifetimes even, you never
Yeah,
know.
you never know. So, and I have definitely seen this one for you. I really think it's probably the biggest lesson that you've come to learn this year because, like, whenever we have, like, our really lengthy chats, we always talk about it. Like, it's
Yes.
definitely been something churning in your brain and in your spirit for a while. So, I'm
Yes.
really proud of you for getting there.
Thank you. I must be learning one of my soul life lessons.
I think so. I think so. Right around your Saturn return if we're continuing to be woo woo.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you know what? My Saturn return so far has given me some good things, and I'm in it for a little bit longer, so
Hmm.
I'm excited.
I am excited for you. And, you know, we love being sappy. And I'm excited to see what you continue to learn next year in this
Oh,
realm.
so cute.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So cute. You're welcome. Love you.
Love you too. What's your next lesson?
Mine is, and you're going to love this one too, is to keep the circle of those you seek opinions from small.
That is not background noise, people. That is me slow clapping. We've been working on this one for a long time.
We have been working on it for a long time. And I don't even, maybe you can help me out with this cuz I've been trying to figure out how I put this into words that doesn't sound like I'm petty.
You know you're asking me, right?
That's true.
Who can be
But
one of the
really,
pettiest persons ever?
yes. So I think the example that I'm going to use to formulate this discussion piece is the choice that my partner and I made to move in together in September,
Yes,
which I
this is a good
think
one.
we were at 6 months. We were together for 6 months, I think, at that point. And you just know if you told some people I'm about to move in with my boyfriend of 6 months, you would get some raised eyebrows.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So this was really a moment where I had to learn the lesson of okay, whose opinion on this matter do I truly value?
Mhm.
Where in the past, before I had learned this lesson, I would tell everyone, like, I would go all around town asking for people's opinions, and I would get so caught up in what they were saying. And, if it was negative, then I'd be like, oh, is this a mistake? And if it was positive, I'd be like, well, are you just telling me this so that because you don't want to tell me no? And I really had gotten to a point in my life where I felt that it was right for me to do this. And I just needed to know that the people closest to me who truly, truly want the best for me had similar thoughts. Because, like, if you raised a red flag, I probably would have considered it further.
Yeah, but the person who you only talk to, like, on Instagram or maybe once or twice a year, you
Yeah.
know, how okay, I don't this is gonna come out not great, but, like, how valuable is their opinion or really when it comes
Yeah.
to something about your everyday life that is a big decision, right? Like, they don't experience the things that you go through on a daily basis. They don't exactly keep tabs
Mhm.
on how you feel and your emotions towards someone. They're more the drop in acquaintance friend. So I think
Mhm.
it's protecting yourself to be selective,
Mhm.
and you shouldn't feel guilty. Like if people are getting mad that you didn't tell them or consult with them, like that's none of their business. Kind of goes back to you can't live someone's life for them,
Yeah.
right? Like they could see it as a disaster decision, but
Mhm.
for you, it's the best decision you ever made.
Yeah. And I think extending further into this lesson is the fact that when I'm approaching people to request their opinions, I've learned that I need to go to somebody who I know truly wants the best for me and is giving me their opinion from a standpoint where they're not hands-on involved. Like,
Like they're giving you their opinion without their emotions.
Yes, and without their lens
Yes,
on
yes, I
the
think that's
situation.
so important to not put the lens on it.
Mhm.
Yeah, man, all of our lessons, they just kinda go together so nicely here
They really
because it's
do.
not your life, right? Like,
Mhm.
you're not gonna think the same, you're not gonna breathe the same. Like, you kinda just have to really trust your own intuition.
Mhm.
And I think an important thing is it's okay for your reasoning to not tell
Mhm.
someone is to not want other people's opinions.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that is a perfectly valid reason.
Mhm. Mhm. No, it definitely is because if we are talking about people putting their lens on things, there is also just a cultural lens
Yes.
on a lot of these choices where, we've talked about it so many times where, oh, well, you shouldn't move in together until you've been together for 3 years.
Mhm.
And it's like, okay, but who wrote that rule?
Yeah, that kinda goes back to people's values, right? Maybe they don't move in together for, like, 3 years, where
Hmm.
that's not a value to you. To you, it's like,
Hmm.
"Well, it feels right. We're on the right path. We both agree to do this,
Hmm.
so we're doing it,"
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah, that was just absolutely huge for me, and it's very liberating to be in a position now where, like, just genuinely, like, having a solid definition of who is going to be there to support you and somebody whose opinion you can trust. Just knowing who those people are in a very definitive sense is such a gift for this
Yeah,
year.
and I think this is a very big step for you personally because, going back to your school days and university where, like, you had very large circles and
Mhm.
that's what was important to you at the time. And I
Mhm.
think I think a lot of people can agree with this. Like, when we're in school, that is probably when we have our largest friend groups. But then when you get out of school, those friend groups, like, they shrink pretty fast, and you really do find
Oh,
out
yeah.
who your core people are who stick around.
Mhm. And, I think another huge thing that's come out of this is me finally getting to a freaking point where I am solid
Mhm.
in my decisions that I don't need to tell everybody and ask everybody about it.
Yeah, like, you actually believe in yourself and can trust yourself
Yes.
to make the right decision.
Yes. So that's been huge because definitely when in the past, when I've gone to everybody and been like, well, what do you think about this? It's because I had no idea
Yeah,
what I thought
yeah.
about it. So that big steps. This is actually like a really big lesson. I'm sorry that it morphed into like 50
No, that's cool.
all in
Hey,
one.
you know what? Lessons build off of other lessons, right? Like, this is how we progress.
Yes. I finally got here, Laura. I
Yay.
finally I finally don't care about other people's opinions. Except for
Well,
yours, of
you know what? You
course.
don't care about everyone's opinions, you just close the
Yes.
circle a little bit.
Yes. So, definitely I would recommend to our listeners to think about if that makes sense for you given your current circle. Like if it feels like you're asking for 15 opinions when really all you need is 2, maybe shrink that a little bit.
Yes, because all those opinions are gonna be a little bit different, and I feel like you're just gonna be even more confused at the end of the day.
Yes. So basically with this specific example, I asked for Laura's opinion because I was just like, I just want to make sure that if I do this, she's not going to kill me
It's just like,
in
"Okay,
my
I need
sleep.
one person to tell me that it's not, like, a crazy stupid idea."
Yes. Except it is funny with this example in specifically is I told my parents and they were like, "Yeah, that's fine. Great. Go look for places." I remember when I was telling you, I was like shaking. Cuz I was like, "Oh, what's she going to say?"
Why am I such a terrifying person?
Well, no, cuz I value your opinion is what I'm trying to say. Cuz your parents are always going to kind of like, be gentle with you. Where I feel like if I had told you this and you thought that it was like a horrible idea, you would have let me
Oh, yeah, I
know.
probably would've. I've been like, "Girl, you barely know this man."
I know. Well, I think because yeah, when I did message you, I was just like, "Oh, what's she gonna say?" And you were like, "I think that's a good idea." And I was like, Aw,
Yeah,
thanks.
like, if I can kinda go back to that time, I'm pretty sure I was just like, you are being, like, really good about your patterns, which we've talked about in previous episodes.
Mhm,
Like, it just seemed like you were really making all the right decisions, and so I didn't feel like I had to be worried about you because I was just like, "Oh, like, you seem really
mhm.
confident about this, and, like, I wanna support you and be there for you."
Yeah. Friendship.
Friends.
Friendship. Insert that, 3 Best Friends song from The Hangover just in here. Yeah, that'll be the opening. That'll be our new, intro
Excellent.
music. Alright, well, yeah, that's my big lesson. So, yeah, Happy New Year,
Didn't
friends.
you have one more lesson? Or that can I just not count?
No, no, I merged a couple
Ah,
of them.
okay. Alright.
I merged 2 because I was just like, "This one's kind of related," and then blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, well, I think, like, as we've kinda said throughout this episode, you just build off of other lessons, right? That's how we,
Yeah.
develop character and get where we're going.
Mhm. Well, I have a question. I have a question for you. I'm gonna put you in the
Oh,
hot seat.
Jesus. This is for last week's hot
Um,
seat questions, isn't it?
I mean, I can answer mine as well, but what is, I guess, your top or one of your top goals for the year that is to
Ah,
come?
crap. I knew I should have prepped some goals for 2022. Oh my god.
I'm putting you right on the spot. You gotta go from your heart.
Geez. For me this year, well, I'm not gonna say any lessons because I feel with lessons, like, you don't know they're a lesson until you learn them. So
Yes.
goals for me this year, what do I wanna do? Gosh, I feel like I'm just in this state, like, I'm happy with what I'm doing, but I want to
Mhm.
continue. Like, for work,
Yes.
I'm happy where I'm at, but I'm, like, working towards the next level. Same with this
Yes.
podcast, really happy with where it's going. I'm ready for it to go to the
Mhm.
next level. And
Mhm.
relationship wise, I think my boyfriend and I, our main thing is like just still working on like us as like, how do I say this? Um, Kind of like as a more adult
Yep.
relationship where, our big thing is that we do want our own place
Mhm.
and kind of continuing that journey of how we are building a life together. So
Mhm.
I'd say those are my top goals right now for riding. Eh, I just enjoy my horse. I felt like I had to throw in a horse goal as well.
I'm manifesting the new place for you guys, hardcore.
Thanks. Thanks. If you could throw in
Yeah.
some extra funds in there as well for the place, I would love that.
Isn't that what we all want? Isn't that
More
what we all
money.
want?
That's what I want for 2022.
Yeah, more money. Please give me a
Yeah,
raise, thank
I
you.
would appreciate that. Thanks.
Um, yes. So, I have a couple. I think my main one is to and it is a couple goal is to really get my finances in order and our combined me and my partner, our combined
Hmm.
finances in order.
Yes.
Just to like not necessarily like we're not doing badly, but we just want to have a more structured, okay, this money, like this percentage goes here, this goes here, this goes here, and to really know where it's going.
Yeah, like a framework of what's happening.
Yeah. And I think probably like the big concrete goal is I want to get my investment accounts
Yes.
going
Yeah.
this year. That's a big one for not just me, but for both of us. Gotta have these couple goals now when you live
Hmm.
together. Um, and I think another one that I have is to work through the more subconscious patterns and fears that have been coming up for me lately. And none of them are like that serious. It's just interesting small things where maybe a conversation will trigger something in me where I'm like, oh, why am I reacting this way?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and I think I'm really at that point where I am centered enough in who I am and I have a support system around me who is going to allow me to explore that side of myself with them
Hmm.
that I feel like I can finally do that. So that is definitely important for me. That's like super vague, but I honestly don't know which patterns I need to process yet because I can't really put them into words yet. So it's vague for me too. Sorry.
Yeah, well, it's kinda like when they come up, then you know, right? Like, you kinda
Yes.
have to address them on a case by case.
Yes. So that one is huge for me. And I think just, again, like you, I'm happy with where I'm at and I want to continue on. But one that's important for me is I really want to come to a place of peace with
Mm.
my body as an adult.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a big one.
that's going to be that one's going to be a huge one for me and I know that we're planning an episode about that.
Yeah, we're gonna do an episode on that, friends, so stay tuned for that because I feel like a lot of our listeners are in that transition of we are well out of the teenage body, and,
Yes.
she's a little different. We need a new manual for how everything operates.
Yes. She's a little different, especially because of the fact that we work both you and I work office jobs where
Yes,
we have to sit down all day. That definitely and you don't have as much time to work out. So that's definitely been a just something that's been coming up for me a lot lately is having difficulties with that. So I would really like to focus on being more empathetic and just loving to my body regardless of what it looks like.
that's a good one. I'm excited for us to talk about that in 2022.
Yes. Yes. Bring on 2022. I can't believe that it's already happening.
Oh
That's
my god,
insane.
how crazy. I
I
mean,
know.
the world is in quite a state right now, but
It is.
individually, we're doing pretty good, and I think that's all we can be concerned about right now. Just have to
Yes.
control our own chaos.
And put as much of our own positive energy out into the world as possible.
Yes, always.
Yes. So happy New Year, friends.
Happy New Year. Have a wonderful holiday and
Yes.
a great New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. We wish the best for you and your family in
Hmm.
this new year. And thank you so much for being along for the ride with us.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. And we will be back with our next episode very soon.
Yes, we have a lot of exciting things coming up for 2022, and we can't wait to share those with you. So live like tea, everyone.
Live like tea.